Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of the Radium Girls. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Valerie.
And today, I'm probably going to sound very nasally. I just want to pre-apologize. My allergies are just kicking my butt right now. I even took off work Tuesday to try to get some rest because I had so much head congestion. So if I sound all stuffy and stuff, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's almost fall in Texas, and should I even say that? Is it almost fall in Texas?
I don't know.
Do we have fall in Texas? I don't even know, but allergies are really bad. We've got a couple storms that have come in, so I'm so sorry. But today's episode is one that Valerie has been super excited to bring to you guys. It's also a topic that I really don't know anything about.
Yeah.
I don't think I really heard about it until you brought it up to me.
I don't know why it's so interesting.
I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, I'll find out why.
Diseases and viruses. I'm like, yes. Tell me more.
Tell me more. Oh my God, I'm so stuffy. I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize. I'm gonna try to consciously make an effort not to. I'm
about to roll up.
I'm so sorry. I just did it. Didn't even think anything about it. So apologies for the way I sound, and let's get into today's episode.
Y'all better be excited.
At least be excited for us.
Be excited for knowledge.
Yeah.
So what is CTE?
I don't know. You tell me. I had to.
Oh God. Okay. Well, CTE stands for chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Good job. Nailed it. Her first try.
Hell yeah. Is a degenerative brain disease found in athletes, military veterans, and others with a history of repetitive brain trauma. It was first described in 1928 when Dr. Harrison Martland described a group of boxers as having punch-drunk syndrome. Over the next 75 years, several researchers reported similar findings in boxers and other victims of brain trauma, but fewer than 50 cases were confirmed. The best available evidence tells us that CTE is caused by repetitive hits to the head sustained over a period of years. This doesn't mean a handful of concussions. Most people diagnosed with CTE suffered hundreds or thousands of head impacts over the course of many years playing contact sports or serving in the military.
And that's why I don't want Maddox to play football.
Exactly.
I mean, I love the sport, but no. Do you love it? I love to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Which still, I don't love that part about it.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting their brains smashed.
I know. Getting their brains smashed. True. It is not just concussions. The best available evidence points towards subconcussive impacts or hits to the head that don't cause full-blown concussions as the biggest factor. CTE has been found in individuals whose primary exposure to head impacts was through tackle football, which was 500 plus cases, the military, which was 50 plus cases, hockey was 30 plus cases, boxing, 20 plus cases, 50 plus globally, rugby is 10 plus cases, soccer, 5 plus cases, 20 plus cases globally, pro wrestling, 5 plus cases, and fewer than 3 cases each, baseball, basketball, intimate partner violence, and individuals with developmental disorders who engage in headbanging behaviors. All I can think about is me headbanging.
You know, I thought about that too. I was like, well, I wonder about people who headbang for metal concerts and stuff.
Yeah.
Or to metal music, period.
They said it could happen.
But the headbanging behaviors is probably on walls and doors and floors.
Developmental.
Like yeah. Sadly.
Yeah. Importantly, not everyone who has suffered repetitive hits to the head will develop CTE. There are several risk factors at play that make some people more prone to develop CTE than others, including the age of first exposure to head impacts, the number of years of exposure, and genetics. Currently, CTE can only be diagnosed after death through brain tissue analysis. Doctors with a specialty in brain diseases slice the brain tissue and use special chemicals to make the abnormal tau protein visible. They then systematically search areas of the brain for tau and the unique pattern specific to CTE. The process can take several months to complete, and the analysis is not typically performed as part of a normal autopsy. In fact, until recently, there are relatively few doctors who knew how to diagnose CTE.
Wow. So here's a scientific breakdown of what CTE is. CTE is a disease of the brain. To really understand the science of what's going on, we'll need some background on what the brain is like when it's healthy. A good place to start is by looking at our brain cells or our neurons. And we've got a lovely little anatomy picture for you guys. If you've ever heard someone talking about how brains are wired, or if you've heard someone talking about getting their brains firing, they were talking about their neurons. Neurons are the basic building blocks of the brain. About 90 billion neurons form trillions of connections, creating a complex network that allows us to interpret and react to our environment. Every neuron has three main parts: the cell body, the axon, and the axon terminal. We'll focus today mainly on the axon, which is a long and skinny structure that behaves a lot like a wire in an electrical circuit. Neurons communicate with one another by sending electrical signals down their axons and off to adjacent cells. The axon's long and spindly shape helps the neuron reach faraway cells in different parts of the brain, but there are two problems that come with that shape. One, it makes the axons fragile and prone to injury during concussion. Things tend to break at their weakest point, and the axon is very often the weak point for the neuron. After a concussion, damage to axons is much more common than damage to the other parts of the cell. A damaged axon has more trouble sending its signals, interfering with the brain's ability to do its job. And two, it makes it difficult for the cells to distribute chemicals and materials to all areas of the cell. Almost everything the cell needs to function is made in the cell body, but a lot of that stuff needs to be used along the axon or at the axon terminal. To get everything where it needs to go, the cell needs a transportation system. To help distribute molecules and materials throughout the cell, neurons have a special transportation system made up of tiny tubes called microtubules. These tubes run the length of the cell, helping materials from one end make it down to the other end.
To continue with our example, if the axon were as big as regular wire, each microtubule would only be as wide as a single strand of hair.
Dang.
It's thin. Remember, axons are the weakest point of the neuron, making them the first thing to break during a concussion. Microtubules are much smaller and weaker than the axons, making them vulnerable not only to concussion, but also smaller impacts that may leave the axons intact. Since these tubes are so small, they need help supporting their structure. A special protein called tau helps keep everything together by sticking to the tubes outside. In healthy brains, this is where the story ends. Tau supports the microtubules. Microtubules help the cells function, and the brain operates normally. In diseased brains, however, the same protein that helped keep everything together can actually cause things to fall apart. That's my life. Science. Science.
You said that's my life?
Yeah. If the microtubules are injured or break down, tau proteins can misfold, detach, and float freely inside the cell. Once proteins start misfolding, even without additional trauma, they can cause other tau proteins within the same cell to misfold and malfunction, impairing cell function and eventually killing the cell. So just fuck shit up. The misfolding tau appears to spread to connected cells when they cause those cells to malfunction as well through what is called prion-like spread.
Definitely thought that said prison.
Some prison-like spread.
Yeah, like I was even like 2 sentences ahead and glanced and thought it said prison. So I've thought it said that for a while now.
Oh my god.
Yep. Just FYI.
Ding.
Oops.
Scientists are still trying to understand why this process leads to CTE in some people and not others. What scientists do know is that the tau in CTE spreads in a distinctive pattern that is unique to CTE. Scientists also believe that the slow spread of misfolding is likely one reason it takes so long for symptoms to show up. The slow spread also provides opportunities for effective treatment to slow or stop the disease. That is a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, researchers at the Boston University Center for Traumatic Encephalopathy for CTE.
Center for TE.
Center for TE.
Encephalopathy. Oh, fuck, I forgot.
Encephalopathy. Oh, that's
there you go. That word.
Yeah. Have outlined what they say are 4 distinct behavioral phases of CTE. Stage 1. This stage is marked by headache and loss of attention. That is me. It may also include short-term memory problems, depression, and aggressive tendencies.
Maybe I have CTE.
I was like, that's me. A couple of the individuals have had problems with executive function and explosivity. What is executive function?
I don't know. Like decision making?
Oh, okay.
That's my thought.
Makes sense. Stage 2. In this stage, individuals were more likely to have experienced headache, attention and concentration problems, mood swings, short-term memory loss, and impulsivity. Less commonly, they may have also experienced suicidal thoughts and language problems.
Stage 3. This stage is marked by the symptoms of the previous stages, with the possible addition of visuospatial difficulties, more extensive cognitive and memory problems, and apathy. The authors say that at this stage, 75% of the individuals were considered cognitively impaired. Ew. Stage 4. This stage is commonly associated with more significant cognition problems and memory loss. Most subjects also showed profound loss of attention and concentration, executive dysfunction, language difficulties, explosivity, aggressive tendencies, paranoia, depression, gait, and visuospatial difficulties. The authors say over 30% were suicidal at some point, and a few experienced problems with physical movement known as Parkinsonism. What to know about CTE in football? It surged into the national consciousness in 2007 when the New York Times reported that Andre Waters sustained brain damage from playing football, which led to his depression and ultimate death by suicide. The degenerative brain disease has been found in the brains of more than 320 former NFL players. Waters was the third, but whose death brought the condition into the mainstream. The group includes at least 24 players who died in their 20s and 30s. That's sad.
A lot.
Junior Seau, 43, Andre Waters, 44, and Dave Durison, 50, were all found to have CTE after their deaths by suicide, as were Jovan Belcher, who's 25, a linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs, who killed his girlfriend before shooting himself in 2012, Aaron Hernandez, who's 27, a former New England Patriots tight end who died by suicide after being convicted of a 2013 murder and was diagnosed with stage 3 CTE, and Philip Adams, who was 32, an NFL defensive back who shot and killed 6 people in April of 2021 before dying by suicide. That's crazy. They murdered people.
I know, right?
And they give themselves, like, there has to be a connection.
Yeah. And I really want to do, like, an Aaron Hernandez case episode.
Yeah.
Or maybe, like, all of them, too. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we could totally
go into that. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. A follow-up to CTE.
Yes.
Vincent Jackson, shout out Vincent, a longtime receiver with the San Diego Chargers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who was found dead in February 2021, was determined to have a mild form of CTE. It may sound like I was like smiling and laughing during that sentence just now, but if y'all knew how many takes we just had to have so that I could actually say San Diego Chargers and not Chargers, maybe we'll throw a couple bloopers for you guys. That's why I'm laughing. It's sad.
That's why we were like,
Yeah, I promise. It's not because, death.
Yeah.
Demarius Thomas, a former receiver for the Denver Broncos, was diagnosed with it after his death in December of 2021. Doctors at the CTE Center have found the disease in more than 90% of the brains of NFL players that they have examined, and many more brains are waiting to be diagnosed. That's a lot, more than 90% of what they were able to
NFL
examine.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly why I don't want him to play football. Like,
I know, especially like starting them so young too.
Yeah,
It's dangerous.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, your brain is so fragile, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, far out, man.
Yeah, man. The brain's fragile.
Yeah.
The Hall of Fame center, Mike Webster, was the first NFL player found to have had CTE, with the result published in a scientific journal 3 years after his death in 2002. For many years, the NFL denied any connection between long-term brain damage and blows to the head until confronted with overwhelming scientific evidence. Science. After a class action lawsuit brought by former players surfaced, the league agreed to roughly $1 billion settlement.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That is. I don't think that'd be enough.
I don't think so either. That's what already got like 20 people? Is that what they said? I don't know.
10-second Tom's here. At least 24.
Oh, 24. Okay.
No.
So far?
320 former.
Oh.
24 of them were in their 20s and 30s.
Oh. Damn. Yeah, that's not enough. In 2016, a league official, speaking in Congress, acknowledged for the first time a connection between the disease and football. In response to the rising prevalence of CTE, the NFL has developed intensive protocols for players who have or show signs of a head injury. The league installed a head injury spotter in the press boxes of all games, doctors and neurotrauma specialists on the sideline, and experts in neurocognitive testing in the locker room. I mean, at least they're trying, I guess.
But are they still doing that?
I hope so.
Like, are they there every game on both teams?
They need to be. They better be.
I don't know.
They're killing people.
That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. The league has also strengthened rules against hitting quarterbacks and players who lower their helmets to initiate contact. The NFL has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in helmet and concussion research and even staged a $3 million grant competition intended to improve helmet performance and safety. According to the league, 99.9% of players wore what it considered a top-performing helmet last season, and it is hoped that position-specific helmets will be introduced soon. That'd be good, too.
Mm-hmm.
The increased awareness of head injuries has prompted some players to willingly remove themselves from games, and others, such as the former linebackers A.J. Tarpley and Chris Borland, to retire, citing safety concerns. Good for them. Twinkies.
Yes.
The symptoms of CTE overlap those seen in military personnel exposed to bomb blasts.
Wow.
So some doctors have worried that CTE might be partly responsible for the high rates of suicide and post-traumatic stress disorder among veterans who served in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Wow.
Their families are saying that their personalities has changed, that they were having trouble sleeping, Pearl says. I don't know.
Who's Pearl?
I don't know.
Okay, you knew I was going to ask,
yeah.
you?
Well, we see more of Pearl right here.
Yeah.
To see whether CTE was a factor, researchers turned to the brain tissue repository.
I'm so proud of you.
I know. I had to pause. I was like, did I say that right?
Because I definitely would have butchered it.
Which is operated by the Department of Defense and the Uniformed Services University under Pearl's direction. I don't know who Pearl is.
He's the director of the university.
Is that what that means?
Whatever.
Well, okay. We said this was the opportunity to look at those brains and see how much CTE played a role in this problem, Pearl says. The team found that of the 10 brains with CTE, only 3 came from service members who had been exposed to bomb blasts. Then we found that all 10 had played contact sports, Pearl says. The results add to the evidence that bomb blasts and sport impacts affect the brain in different ways.
Brain injuries in football or boxing are caused by an impact that pushes the brain against the skull. In a bomb blast, a pressure wave passes through the brain tissue, causing it to stretch and deform. The physics are different, Pearl says, and apparently the pathology that comes from it is different. But impacts and blasts can both do lasting damage, Pearl says. One shouldn't go away thinking that because we didn't find CTE, the brains are normal, he says. That's clearly not the case. Also, most of the brains in this study came from relatively young people, Pearl says. So it's possible more of them would have gone on to develop CTE as they got older. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Also connected to CTE is headbanging. When you do that, it's like being repeatedly punched in boxing. The brain moves inside the skull and is displaced, and the blood vessels that vascularize the brain move differently than the brain tissue itself. A blood vessel can literally slice through part of the tissue. Then you have tissue damage. Then you have inflammation. Inflammation can induce all sorts of molecular cascades that then lead to the accumulation of abnormal proteins like tau. The goal for CTE researchers is the discovery of a biomarker that indicates CTE in living people. The new study does not provide that, but in streamlining research, it could help achieve that landmark faster. Although I wish I could say it's game changer right now, it's a game changer for the future, said Robert Stern, director of the clinical research at Boston University's CTE Center and one of the paper's authors. We're really not at the point of being able to diagnose CTE during life yet. We're getting much closer, and this new paper is an important step forward. Formalizing the symptoms of CTE will benefit researchers in multiple ways, Stern said. It will help determine the prevalence of CTE, which remains unknown. It will help identify the causes of CTE and better define risks for athletes who play contact sports. And it will help researchers differentiate CTE from Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. Stern pointed to Alzheimer's research as a possible precedent. While researchers have not discovered a single telltale biomarker, a combination of tests and symptoms provides reliable means to make a diagnosis. Recent advances in blood tests, Stern said, provide further reason for optimism that a definitive diagnosis for CTE during life could be close. No pun intended.
Yeah, for real. Don't do that.
That's crazy.
I know, yeah. I definitely want to do a story on the football players because that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it would be nice for them to be able to look at brains while people are alive so they can help them instead of, not finding out till after death that they have it.
Yeah.
Why can't they just lobotomy a little bit? Not as crazy, but a little bit.
Oh, Lord.
Just
Here she goes.
Little needle poke and pull to see if you got the towel.
It's like that, like you said, most of it is young people and, it may not develop till later on. So, I don't know. The brain is just so sensitive. And
I know. And all those contact sports, I've watched this boxer. They said it was rabbit punches to the back of his head whenever he was fighting. And he lasted through it, and then when he went to the back room or whatever, he just collapsed. And after that, he was just not paralyzed. He was just he just wasn't there.
Damn.
Yeah. So and he's barely there.
He said this?
No, I watched a video on it.
Oh,
a little mini documentary thing on him. He's still alive, but
do you remember what his name is?
It's some Mexican dude. Just built Pritchard. That was his name. Pritchard Colon or something. I think it's Colon.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So it left him mentally disabled.
Yeah, mentally disabled.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah.
That is so sad.
It is.
We could do his story.
Yeah, we do. Go back and look at Like a video of him boxing.
Oh. Whenever he got rabbit punched, is that on video? Like,
Yeah.
I know it's dark, but
Yeah.
damn. The night that changed his life.
Oh, yeah, and he kept pointing to his head because he kept hitting him.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we can cover him.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's go back to our design.
Yeah.
We'll cover him because that's a pretty crazy. That's insane.
Yeah. So I don't think CTE, but I don't know. Still trash.
Head injury, brain injury. Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy. Sorry, I really don't remember what we were talking about, but I didn't really know anything about this. Like, I know that the Aaron Hernandez story was really, really big recently, and you've talked about it, Essence has talked about it and stuff, but I never really knew anything about it. I live under a rock. Hi, if you didn't know.
Go find out.
We'll go find out. But that's just, it's sad. I already had my own thoughts about why I didn't want my kid to play football, and, you know, head injuries being one of them. But just the thought of these people could have possibly murdered someone and took their own life because of a head injury that could have been prevented. It's just, it's terrifying.
And then, like, the NFL not even wanting to, like, come out with it for a while and denying it. Like, you're, like, killing people over here. Like, these are your people and you're killing them.
A lot of industries that are doing that, but...
And yeah, because it's so big, they don't want to, you know, because making so much money. It's always about the money.
Yes. Big pharma. Yep. It's all about the money.
Can't protect their people. You just gotta, you know, get your money and let them go.
It's crazy. But we're in a time that's like, stay woke. I closed the wrong file. Damn it.
And I know they were like, they didn't want to say anything because they're like, if mothers find out, they're not going to want their kids. People are going to want their football, okay?
Yeah.
People are going to want their, people are going to play football, everything. It's not going to go anywhere, but y'all could make it more
safe.
Yeah.
A lot safer. Yeah. Which I'm glad that they're doing the research on the different helmets and, you know, stuff like that. But
have different protection for the different people. That'd be nice.
And we've got different Trojan sizes for, you know, different size protection. So, like, here we have, you know, one size does not fit all.
Yes. And I know football games, people have concussions and they still let them play. Don't do that.
No.
Don't let them lie to you either. They have a concussion. Take them out.
Yeah.
Your game is not that important in someone's life.
Yeah. I mean, how many high school kids do you know that, well, not that maybe that you've known, that you know, but have you heard of that have died on the football field?
Yeah, several.
I was at a game cheerleading one time when a kid got life. What do you say?
Life flighted?
Life airlifted out.
I don't know.
Life flighted out. They had a helicopter come pick him up.
There you go.
He was taken on live air flight. And he didn't make it. I mean, like, it was crazy. I didn't get to see I didn't see it. I was at the concession stand. It was during like third quarter, and usually the cheerleaders take a break, or band takes a break and stuff during that quarter. But
yeah,
it's like just too close to home.
I know, it's crazy. And then, like, even like Aaron Hernandez, like, they start when they're young. So you're having years and years and years of this.
Yeah.
Constant impacts.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, not only football, all the other ones too.
Yeah, for sure. Just, I mean, boxing. We just talked about that too. So
boxing, hockey, because hockey, they're always fighting.
Yeah,
they do that on purpose. So
yeah,
just protect your brain.
Yeah,
protect your brain. This is why you need to wear a helmet when you're roller skating.
Yes, yes, and elbow pads too. I mean, you gotta protect
all the pads.
Yeah, you gotta protect our bodies. Protect your bodies.
Especially your brain, though. Your brain is very fragile.
Absolutely.
That was our story, though.
Yeah. Let us know down below if you learned something today. Did you learn how to say encephalopathy? Nope, because I sure didn't. Encephalopathy. There we go.
Encephalopathy?
Yeah. Encephalopathy.
Encephalopathy?
I sure learned how to say it today.
Yeah. So a bunch of words we learned how to say.
Tau.
Tau.
I don't remember any others.
There was another one, I remember.
There was another one.
Oh, visual-spatial.
Yeah. Visuospatial.
Visuospatial.
Yeah.
We're learning.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it.
So you can catch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast apps. If we're not on there, let us know. We will get there. Yes.
We rely on you to know like what you want us to what you want to hear us on.
Yes. So we have a Facebook, we have an Instagram.
Yeah.
Just go check us out and follow us and like us and all the other good stuff. Share it.
Yeah. So our 1-year anniversary episode is next week. We are so excited that we've made it a year. We're so grateful that you guys have stuck it out with us. And we look forward to bringing you more content. So make sure that you keep letting us know what you want to hear, what you want to see, and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, we're excited.
1 year, we made it. We did it.
We did
Let's
it.
keep going.
Yeah.
I think we have like 2,000 downloads.
It's over 2,000 now.
Over 2,000 downloads now on our podcast, which is pretty cool. That's pretty big for us. You know, that was a huge spike. We just hit our 1,000 download not too long ago, and then so we're hoping that by the end of by the time that you see this video, because we do pre-record, we'll have another 1,000. Yeah,
Bring your friends.
Yeah, everyone.
So thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious.